began to evaluate this unit in 1990, and was very impressed with the way it was made, with all the aspects of this unit. And from those tests that were presented at international research meetings and were regarded by other scholars as being very sound tests, then we have advocated this product for about the past 8 or 9 years.
Wow, okay. So you've done, there's big background in
there's a lot of research that has gone into developing the unit, to testing the unit, to making sure that the unit does what it says it's going to do. I basically was looking for an answer to the problem. That's why. That's why, you know, that my interest in things like doing all the research. You know, I had patients who were sick, who would get well, who would get sick, and I wanted to break that chain to see what was going on.
You know, it amazes me as we talk here today that a unit like this, just by having sanitation done on a toothbrush, can prevent a whole handful of particular problems, systemic problems.
Both systemic and
oral. But you know, see, the thing that really gets me, you know, when we talk about oral problems, we're talking about pathologies, as an example, like gum disease and what have you, right? Or herpes or what have you. But systemically, when we're talking about cardiovascular problems, things like that, that are major, life-threatening particular problems that can be prevented. Wow.
Well, you know, one of the groups of people that I've also seen benefit from this are the people who have what are called recurring oral ulcers, the sores in the mouth. A lot of my patients have sores, and one of the first things that I do is to put them on a unit like this, because mostly those sores are coming from the toothbrush, usually the back side or the handle of the toothbrush. And this unit, once again, is very effective at decreasing the numbers of organisms in these areas too.
You know, it amazes me, the mainstream society, you know, they'll, as an example, somebody will have a cardiac problem and they'll go ahead and deal with that and do a bypass or what have you, what have you. It doesn't seem to me that they address prevention, something as simple as using a system like this for oral health, though.
Well, they've not made the association. And that's one of the reasons I'm so pleased to be on your program today. Because I think that anything you can do, if you're going to undergo the stress of any kind of cardiovascular procedure, whether it be a bypass or whether it be a stent or a balloon angioplasty, all these terms we hear bandied around on medical shows, regardless of what the nature of it is, that can be altered by putting microorganisms or germs back into the system.
Oh yeah, exactly. And if it could be done, simply done, say like with a product like this, I mean, if it's that simple, my thing is, why not? I mean, because I'm prevention here. That's why we had this show. We're talking about prevention on this show. What is the leading things out there right now that can help you prevent from getting pathologies or these problems down the road? Okay?
Exactly. And of course, from a scientific point of view, one of the most difficult things, as you know, is to study a disease that's prevented. It is very difficult to come up with numbers that everybody feels comfortable with if you've actually prevented the disease. People want to say, well, who said I would have gotten the disease anyway? And we have patients say, well, I never feel bad. And then I begin to look at that with them.
Again, Dr. Glass, you know, we're running out of time. It sure goes quick.
Time goes awfully quick.
Time flies, doesn't it? And I want to give something for our viewing audience out there, to leave them with something. What would you say would be the best thing then to keep their bacteria count down, to give them more longevity, deal with oral health then? With a system like this, like the Pure system, would you say this would
Certainly the Pure system is effective in lessening the number of microorganisms on the toothbrush, and anything that does that is going to have an impact on the patient.
Because I don't think people really realize how important of an impact, say, getting oral health in really good order has on the whole systemic system.
I certainly agree with you.
Don't think people realize that. How do you relate? Well, what do you mean? They say a toothbrush. I go to the dentist, I get my teeth cleaned. You know, I get my teeth cleaned every 6 months. I don't have any cavities. My oral health is in good order. It's not.
Well, that certainly has been our experience.
Exactly. So what I want to do is I want to talk to our viewing audience, and I want to let them know if they want to get a hold of you. You have a website also, don't you?
I have an email address.
Email
yes.
address, okay. And for our viewing audience out there right now, if you want to get a hold of Dr. Glass, he has an email right now that is on the screen. You can get a hold of him if you want to find out anything more about this. I would say go ahead and find out more about it, because I think it's very, very important that people do use more preventive measures.
And PureBrush has a website, so purebrush.com.
Okay.
Will certainly get you to the studies that we have already talked about.
I wanted to ask you about that real quick. Can they get to all the studies and read up about the studies, what this has done?
Yes, PureBrush was very kind to put many of my studies and other people's studies on the website so that they can access that, so they can be conversant about this.
Yeah, because people want to, I know they like getting on the computer and they want to go ahead and find out more, and they can sit there in the comfort of their own home and find out a little bit more about the studies that you have done.
I would encourage them to do so.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. You've given us a wealth, I mean a wealth of information. Invaluable.
Dr. Teacher, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Just to sanitize the toothbrush, the impact this can have on your health. It's incredible.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And for our viewing audience out there, again, if you want to find out more, go ahead on Dr. Glass's email. You can look at all of the studies. You can find out everything you need to find out. And again, I want you to keep you and your family healthy and use the toothbrush and sanitize that toothbrush. So go on that email and check Dr. Glass's email and look at those studies and make a decision for yourself. Until next time,